Admiral Hyun-woo Kim stood at the large window of his office, watching the stars move slowly past. The space station New Seoul spun gently as it moved around Earth. He had been watching those same stars for 20 years now, and they still made him feel peaceful. A soft sound told him someone was at his door. "Come in," he said. Captain Soo-jin Park walked into the room. She was young for a captain, only 35, but she was smart and brave. Her ship, the Taeguk, was one of Earth's best exploration ships. "Admiral, we got a message from the Vallani," she said. "They want to thank us again for helping them solve their trade problem with the Nixari." Hyun-woo smiled. This was the kind of news he liked to hear. For over 100 years, humans had been helping different alien races get along with each other. It was good work, and it made him proud. "That is good news," he said. "How are things on your ship?" "Very good, sir. Dr. Min-ho Lee just finished his study of Vallani crystal art. He says their way of making art might help us understand how they think." Dr. Min-ho Lee was one of Earth's best scientists for studying aliens. He had spent his whole life learning about different alien races. He believed that understanding how aliens thought was the key to keeping peace in the galaxy. "And Lieutenant Yoonji Cho?" Hyun-woo asked. "She is still working with the Torek on their new trading language. They want to make it easier for all the races to talk to each other." Hyun-woo nodded. Lieutenant Yoonji Cho was very good with languages. She could speak 7 different alien languages, and she was learning more all the time. The Galactic Cooperative was made up of many different races, but 4 were the most important. There were the humans from Earth, of course. Then there were the Vallani, who looked like walking crystals and loved art and beautiful things. The Torek were like giant frogs who lived in water and were very good at making deals. And the Nixari were beings made of pure energy who could control stars and planets. For 127 years, these 4 races had worked together. They shared knowledge, traded goods, and helped each other solve problems. There were other alien races in the galaxy, but most of them were either too far away or too aggressive to join the cooperative. The most aggressive race was the Catharan Empire. They had gray skin, sharp teeth, and red eyes. They conquered other planets and made slaves of the people who lived there. But they had never attacked the cooperative because the 4 races were strong when they worked together. "Sir," Soo-jin said, "there is something else. We have been getting strange reports from the outer edge of our space." Hyun-woo turned away from the window. "What kind of reports?" "Ships have been disappearing. Small trading ships mostly. And 3 weeks ago, a Torek colony stopped sending messages. This was not good news. Have we sent anyone to check on them?" "The council says it is probably just equipment problems. They think the ships are fine, and their communication systems are broken." Hyun-woo did not like this answer. The Galactic Council was made up of leaders from all the races. They made decisions for the whole cooperative. But sometimes they did not want to believe bad news. "What do you think?" he asked Soo-jin. "I think something is wrong. The ships that disappeared were all near Catharan space." Hyun-woo walked to his desk and sat down. He had been worried about the Catharans for months. They had been very quiet lately, and quiet Catharans usually meant trouble. "I want you to take the Taeguk and check on that Torek colony," he said. "Yes, sir, but the council said we should not worry about it." "I am giving you the order, not the council. Take Dr. Min-ho with you. If there are survivors, he might be able to help them." Soo-jin nodded. "What if we find Catharans there?" "Then you run. Your ship is fast, but it is not a warship. Do not try to fight them." After Soo-jin left, Hyun-woo went back to the window. The stars did not look as peaceful as they had before. Somewhere out there, the Catharans were planning something. He could feel it. Humans had not always been peaceful. Before they joined the cooperative, Earth had terrible wars. Millions of people died. Cities were destroyed. But humans learned from those wars. They learned that fighting only brought pain and death. When humans first met the other races, they decided to be different. They became the peacemakers. When the Vallani and the Nixari had a fight about energy rights, humans helped them find a solution. When the Torek wanted to trade with a distant race but could not talk to them, humans learned their language and helped make the deal. This was Earth's role in the galaxy now. They were the bridge between different races. They helped everyone get along. It was good work, and most humans were proud of it. But Hyun-woo remembered the old stories his grandfather told him. Stories about the wars on Earth. Stories about what humans could do when they were angry. He hoped those days were gone forever. 3 days later, Soo-jin sent a message from the Taeguk. They had reached the Torek colony. Her voice sounded strange when she spoke. "Admiral, you need to see this. We are sending you pictures now." The pictures appeared on Hyunwoo's screen. At first he did not understand what he was looking at. Then he realized it was the Torek colony. But something was very wrong. The buildings were still there, but they were empty. The water pools where the Torek lived were green and slimy. There were no Torek anywhere. "Where are they?" Hyunwoo asked. "We found some bodies, sir, but not many. It looks like most of them just left, or were taken." "Any sign of who did this?" "No, sir. But we found this." A new picture appeared. It was a wall with strange writing on it. The writing was in the Kitharan language. Hyunwoo could not read it, but he knew someone who could. "Send that to Lieutenant Yoonji. Have her translate it." "Sir, she already did. It says the weak will serve or die." Hyunwoo felt cold. This was not just a raid or an accident. This was a message. "Come home, Captain. Come home now." "Yes, sir." Hyunwoo turned off the communication and sat in his chair. The Kitharans were making their move. After 127 years of peace, war was coming to the galaxy. He looked out at the stars again. They did not look peaceful anymore. They looked like eyes watching him, waiting to see what he would do. Hyunwoo knew that humans had been peaceful for a long time. Maybe too long. Maybe they had forgotten how to be anything else. He hoped he was wrong. But deep inside he knew that the time of peace was ending. Dr. Min-ho Lee was sleeping when the alarm started. He jumped out of his bed on the research station and looked out the window. What he saw made his blood turn cold. Ships, hundreds of them. They were gray and black with sharp edges like metal sharks swimming through space. Kitharan ships. Min-ho ran to the communication room. Other scientists were already there, their faces white with fear. On the big screen they could see the planet below them. Nexari Prime, home to billions of energy beings who had lived in peace for thousands of years. "What is happening?" Min-ho asked. "They came out of nowhere," said Dr. Yuki, a scientist from Japan. "No warning, no message. They just started attacking." On the screen, Min-ho could see strange machines floating down to the planet. They looked like giant metal spiders with long tubes hanging from them. When the tubes touched the planet's surface, they began to glow. "They are stealing the energy," whispered Dr. Sarah, an old woman who had studied the Nexari for 30 years. "They are draining the planet." Min-ho watched in horror as the lights on Nexari Prime began to go out. The Nexari were beings made of pure energy. They lived in the planet's core, swimming through rivers of light and power. But now those rivers were being sucked up by the Kitharan machines. "We have to do something," Min-ho said. "What can we do? We are scientists, not soldiers. Our ship has no weapons." Min-ho grabbed the communication device and tried to call for help, but all he heard was static. The Kitharans were blocking all signals. Then something appeared on the screen that made Min-ho sick. A Nexari elder, one of the oldest and wisest of their race, was trying to escape from the planet. It looked like a ball of bright blue light, but it was getting dimmer and dimmer. "It is coming here," Dr. Yuki said. The Nexari elder passed through the walls of the station like they were not there. This was normal for Nexari. They could move through solid things because they were made of energy. But this elder was dying. Min-ho could see it losing power every second. "Human," the elder said. Its voice sounded like music, but sad music. "You must remember us." "You are not going to die," Min-ho said. "We will find a way to help you." "No, my people are gone. The machines have taken our life force. In minutes, Nexari Prime will be empty." The elder's light was getting very dim now. It reached out with what looked like a hand made of blue fire and touched Min-ho's chest. Something hard and warm appeared in his hands. It was a small crystal that glowed with soft light. "This contains our history, our art, our music, everything we were. Keep it safe. Tell the galaxy what happened here." "I promise," Min-ho said. The elder smiled, even though it had no real face. The humans were the only ones who truly understood peace. "Do not let that understanding die with us." Then the light went out. The elder was gone. Min-ho looked at the crystal in his hands and then at the screen. Nexari Prime was now completely dark. An entire race of beings had just died in less than an hour. On the other side of the galaxy, Lieutenant Yoonji Cho was having dinner with her Torek friends on the water world of Aquatica. The Torek were happy people who loved to eat and tell stories. Yoonji was laughing at a joke when her communication device started beeping. "Sorry," she said to her friends. This might be important. But when she looked at the device, there was no message. "Just an emergency signal from orbit. What is wrong?" asked Bloop, her Torek friend. His real name was much longer and had sounds that humans could not make, so everyone called him Bloop. I do not know. Something is happening in space. They went outside to look at the sky. At first, everything looked normal. Then Unji saw lights moving between the stars. Ships, lots of them. Those are not our ships, Bloop said. His voice was scared now. The ships came down from the sky like angry birds. They were Kitharan ships and they were carrying something terrible. Large containers that they dropped into the ocean. Everyone into the deep shelters. Bloop shouted to his people, but it was too late. Whatever was in those containers was already spreading through the water. Hyunji watched in horror as the beautiful blue ocean around them began to turn green and then black. Poison, Bloop said. His breathing was getting hard. They are poisoning our world. Yunji grabbed her emergency mask and put it on. But Bloop and the other Torek could not stop breathing the water. It was how they lived. Try to get to the surface, Yunji said. Try to breathe air instead of water. Some Torek tried, but it was too late for most of them. The poison was designed just for them. It attacked their gills and their blood. Within minutes, thousands of Torek were floating dead in their own ocean. Yunji managed to reach her small ship and take off. As she flew up into space, she could see the poison spreading across the entire planet. The Kitharans had killed a whole world in one attack. She tried to send a message to Earth, but something was blocking her signals. She could only watch as more Kitharan ships arrived to finish what they started. Meanwhile, Captain Sujin Park was on the Vellani art world of Prism 7th with a group of Vellani children. The children were learning how to make crystal art from their elders. It was a beautiful sight. The young Vellani looked like small diamonds and their art sparkled like captured stars. Sujin loved visiting the Vellani. They were peaceful and kind, and their art was the most beautiful thing in the galaxy. The Vellani children especially liked humans because humans could appreciate beauty the way they did. Captain Sujin, said Bright Melody, one of the young Vellani, will you tell us another story about Earth? Sujin was about to answer when her ship's computer started screaming warnings. She looked at her communication device and saw ships approaching fast. Kitharan ships. Everyone listen to me, she said to the Vellani. We need to get to my ship right now. The Vellani did not understand why she was scared. They had never seen war. They did not know what Kitharans could do, but why? Asked Elder Crystal Song. Are they coming to see our art? No, Sujin said. They are coming to destroy it. The Kitharan ships landed before Sujin could get everyone to safety. Soldiers came out wearing black armor and carrying weapons that hummed with energy. The first thing they did was destroy the crystal gardens where the Vellani grew their art. They used sonic, weapons that made sounds so terrible that the crystal structures shattered into tiny pieces, but that was not the worst part. The worst part was that they did it slowly. They wanted the Vellani to suffer. They wanted them to watch their life's work being destroyed piece by piece. Why are you doing this? Elder Crystal Song asked. The Kitharan commander laughed. Because you are weak. Because your beauty is useless. Because this galaxy belongs to the strong now. Then they started killing the Vellani, not quickly but slowly. They used weapons that cracked their crystal bodies bit by bit. The sounds the Vellani made when they died were like music boxes breaking. Sujin tried to fight, but she only had a small weapon meant for emergencies. The Kitharans had real war weapons. She managed to get 847 Vellani children to her ship, but she had to leave the adults behind. As her ship took off, she could hear the Vellani elders singing their death songs. They were facing their end with beauty and grace, even as the Kitharans destroyed everything they had ever built. Captain, Bright Melody said, why did they hurt our families? Sujin did not know what to say. How do you explain evil to a child who has never seen it before? I do not know, she said. But I promise you this, someone will pay for what happened here. All across the galaxy, the same thing was happening. The Kitharans had planned this attack for years. They struck everywhere at once, giving their victims no time to call for help or fight back. In 17 star systems, 3 entire races were being wiped out. Not conquered, not enslaved, completely destroyed. By the time Admiral Hyunwoo Kim learned what was happening, it was already over. The Galactic Cooperative was dead. His friends were dead, and the Kitharans were already claiming the empty worlds for themselves. The message they sent to Earth was simple. Surrender now, or join your friends. Hyunwoo looked at the pictures coming in from the destroyed worlds. He thought about all the years of peace, all the friends they had made, all the good they had tried to do. Then he thought about something else, something that humans had not thought about for 127 years. What happens when you push peaceful people too far? The Kitherans were about to find out. Fleet Admiral Ji-hoon Kang sat in the war room deep inside Earth's moon. The room had not been used for 127 years. Dust covered the old computers and weapons displays. But now it was full of people again. On the table in front of him were reports from the massacre, pictures of dead worlds, lists of extinct species. The numbers were too big to understand. Billions of lives lost in a single day. The Galactic Council has voted to surrender, said General Haewon Shin. They want us to give up too. What did you tell them? Ji-hoon asked. I told them that Earth does not surrender. Ji-hoon nodded. Around the table sat the most important military leaders on Earth. Most of them were young. They had been born during the time of peace. They had never seen real war, but there were a few old people in the room too. People who remembered the stories their grandparents told them. Stories about what humans used to be like when they were angry. Admiral, said Dr. Yeon Hee-song. She was very old, maybe 90 years old. I think it is time. Time for what? Asked General Haewon. Time to open the closed vaults. Everyone in the room became very quiet. The closed vaults were a secret that only a few people knew about. When Earth joined the Galactic Cooperative, they had to promise to lock away their most dangerous weapons. The other races thought these weapons were too scary for a peaceful galaxy. What is in the closed vaults? Asked General Haewon. Dr. Yeon Hee smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Everything we promised we would never use again. She walked to a wall and put her hand on a scanner. Hidden doors opened, showing computers that had been sleeping for over a century. Quantum weapons that can destroy matter itself, she said. Nanomachines that can eat entire planets. Mind control devices. Genetic weapons. Stellar bombs that can make stars explode. The young officers looked scared. They had never imagined that humans had created such terrible things. Why did we build weapons like that? Asked Colonel Jin Woo Choi. Because we were very good at killing each other, Dr. Yeon Hee said. Before we learned to be peaceful, humans fought wars that almost destroyed our planet. We learned to make weapons out of everything. Biology, physics, chemistry, even mathematics. Admiral Hyun-woo Kim came into the room. He looked tired and angry. In his hands was the crystal that Dr. Min-ho Lee had given him. The last memory of the Nexari race. The survivors are asking for orders, he said. How many survivors? Ji-hoon asked. From 3 entire races? Maybe 10,000 people. Children, mostly. The room was quiet again. 10,000 survivors from billions of people. Admiral, said Captain Soo-jin Park. She had just arrived with the Villani children. What are your orders? Ji-hoon stood up and walked to the window. Outside he could see Earth spinning slowly in space. His home, the home of 8 billion humans. If they did nothing, the Kitherans would come for Earth next, Dr. Song, he said. Open all the closed vaults, everything. Sir, are you sure? Some of these weapons have never been tested. We do not know what they might do. The Kitherans just killed 3 entire races without mercy. They arranged the bodies like art. They made children watch their parents die. I think we can risk some untested weapons. Dr. Song nodded and started typing on the old computers. All around Earth and its colonies, secret factories began to wake up. Machines that had been sleeping for 127 years started working again. Captain Park, Ji-hoon said, I want you to take the first experimental ship. We are going to test something. What kind of test, sir? We are going to see if the Kitherans bleed. 3 days later, Soo-jin stood on the bridge of her new ship. It did not look like the old Taeguk. This ship was black and sharp like a knife made of metal. It had weapons that could punch holes in reality itself. Captain, said Major Tae Young-yoon. He was wearing new armor that connected to his brain. We have found a Kitheran patrol group. 47 ships. How many ships do we have? Soo-jin asked. 12, ma'am. In the old days, 12 human ships would have run from 47 Kitheran ships. Human ships were built for exploration, not fighting. But these were not the old days anymore. Attack, Soo-jin said. The battle lasted exactly 4 minutes and 17 seconds. The Kitheran ships had strong shields and powerful weapons, but they had never seen anything like what the humans brought to the fight. Quantum torpedoes that ignored shields completely. Nanoswarm weapons that ate through ship hulls like acid. Psychic warfare devices that made the enemy crews forget how to fly their ships. When it was over, 47 Kitheran ships were floating dead in space. Not one human ship had even been damaged. "Captain," said Lieutenant Bo Young Lee. "We are getting a transmission from the Kytheran flagship. Put it on screen." A Kytheran commander appeared. He had gray skin, red eyes, and sharp teeth. But for the first time in Kytheran history, he looked afraid. "What are you?" he asked. "You are humans. Humans are weak. Humans are peaceful." Sujin smiled. It was not a nice smile. "We were peaceful. You fix that. This is impossible. Your ships are not supposed to have weapons like this. We had them all along. We just chose not to use them. But you killed our friends. Now we choose differently." The Kytheran commander's face changed. For the first time, he understood what they had done. They had not attacked weak farmers and artists. They had attacked humans. And humans, when they were angry, were the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. "You cannot do this," he said. "There are rules. Laws of war." "You are right," Sujin said. "There are rules. Rule 1, do not commit genocide. You broke that rule. Now we will show you what happens when you break the rules." She turned off the transmission and looked at her crew. "Send a message to the Kytheran Empire. Tell them that was just a test. Tell them the real war starts tomorrow. And if they try to surrender?" asked Major Tae-young. "Tell them to ask the Villani about surrender." "Oh wait, they cannot, because the Kytherans killed them all." Back on Earth, the factories were working day and night. Ships that looked like nightmares flew out of hidden bases. Soldiers trained with weapons that could kill entire armies. Scientists worked to make even more terrible things. Dr. Min-ho Lee, who had once studied alien art, now studied alien biology. He was looking for ways to make diseases that would only hurt Kytherans. Lieutenant Yoon-ji Cho, who had learned alien languages for peace, now used those languages to spread fear through Kytheran space. Admiral Hyun-woo Kim stood in his office again, looking at the stars. But he was not the same man who had loved peace. The crystal in his hands reminded him of what the Kytherans had taken away. "Sir," said an aide, "the first strike force is ready to leave." "Good. And the stellar weapons?" "Ready, sir. We can destroy any star system they control." Hyun-woo nodded. He had hoped he would never have to make these choices. He had hoped that the galaxy could stay peaceful forever. But the Kytherans had made a terrible mistake. They thought that because humans were peaceful, humans were weak. They did not understand that humans had chosen to be peaceful. They did not understand that humans could choose to be something else they were about to learn. "Send the message to all human ships," Hyun-woo said. "Operation Remember begins now." "What should the message say, sir?" Hyun-woo thought about the Villani children singing as they died. He thought about the Torek floating in their poisoned oceans. He thought about the last Nexari elder giving him their final gift. "Tell them to remember our friends. Tell them to make the Kytherans pay. And tell them that mercy is over." Across human space, 1,000 ships began to move. They were ships like the galaxy had never seen before. Ships built by a race that had spent 127 years learning to be peaceful. Now they were going to spend however long it took learning to be something else. The Kytherans had wanted to rule the galaxy through fear. They were about to discover what real fear looked like. Commander Dong-hyun Park stood on the bridge of the Wrath of Sol and watched a planet die. It was a Kytheran military world, home to 3 million soldiers and their families. A week ago, it had been a strong fortress world with powerful shields and weapons. Now it was a ball of fire floating in space. "Starkiller cannon is recharged, sir," said his weapons officer. "We can fire again in 6 hours." "Good. What is our next target?" "The Kytheran naval base at Krex Prime. Intelligence says they have 200 warships there." Dong-hyun nodded. The Starkiller cannon was one of the new weapons from the closed vaults. It could make a planet's core explode from 3 light years away. The Kytherans had no defense against it because they had never imagined such a weapon could exist. "Sir," said his communication officer, "we are getting a message from the planet's surface." "Put it through." A Kytheran voice came through the speakers. It sounded scared and desperate. "Please stop. We surrender. We have families here." "Children?" Dong-hyun thought about the Villani children his sister had saved. The ones who had watched their parents die. "Did you think about children when you poisoned Aquatica? Did you care about families when you shattered the crystal cities? That was different. That was war." "You are right," Dong-hyun said. "This is war too. Your war, you started it. We are just finishing it." He turned off the communication and looked at his crew. They were all young humans who had learned to be soldiers in just a few months. Before the massacre, they had been farmers, teachers, artists. Now they were the crew of the most dangerous ship in the galaxy. "Take us to Krex Prime," he said. "Let us go kill some more Kithrans." On the other side of Kithran space, Captain Bo-Young Lee was doing something much quieter but just as deadly. Her ship, the Silent Vengeance, was invisible to all sensors. It used phase shift technology that let it exist between dimensions. Bo-Young and her crew were specialists in psychological warfare. "They did not destroy planets. They destroyed minds, target acquired," said her pilot. "Kithran command ship, Dominant Fang. Any escorts? 50 ships protecting it. But they cannot see us," Bo-Young smiled. The Kithrans thought their command ship was safe in the middle of their fleet. They did not know that human technology could make a ship exist in 5 dimensions at once. "Take us inside their ship." The Silent Vengeance phased through the hull of the Kithran command ship like it was made of air. They appeared in the main corridor, still invisible to the enemy. "Deploy nanoplague," Bo-Young ordered. Tiny machines, smaller than dust, spread through the ship's air system. They were designed to attack Kitharan brain chemistry. Within minutes, every Kitharan on the ship began to see things that were not there, but they were not random things. The nanoplague was programmed to make them see specific images. Images of dead Villani children, images of poisoned Torak floating in black water, images of Nexari elders fading into darkness. The Kitharan crew began to scream. Some of them went insane, others just sat down and cried. The command ship stopped moving and began to drift. "Message delivered," Bo-Young said. "Take us to the next target." The Silent Vengeance phased away, leaving behind a ship full of Kitharans who would never sleep peacefully again. This was how the human war machine worked. No single attack was like another. Every strike was designed to teach the Kitharans a different lesson about pain. Colonel Jinwoo Choi led the Ghost Corps, soldiers who could appear and disappear like spirits. They used cloaking technology and teleportation devices to strike at Kitharan worlds. But they did not just kill soldiers, they created messages. On the industrial world of Vex 7, Jinwoo and his team killed an entire Kitharan army base in one night. But they did not just leave bodies behind. They arranged the dead Kitharans to spell out words in the ancient human language. The words said, "Remember the Villani. Remember the Torak. Remember the Nexari." When other Kitharans found the base, they were so scared that many of them refused to fight anymore. The idea that humans could appear anywhere, anytime, made every Kitharan soldier afraid to sleep. "Sir," said Sergeant Minho Kim, "intelligence reports that some Kitharan units are surrendering without fighting." "Good," Jinwoo said. "Fear is a weapon too, and we have become very good at using it." Back on Earth, General Haewon-shin was building the largest war fleet in galactic history. The shipyards around Earth worked day and night. New ships came out every hour, each one carrying weapons that had been locked away for over a century. But the most terrible ships were the dreadnoughts. These were ships the size of cities, armed with weapons that could crack planets in half. Each dreadnought carried enough firepower to destroy an entire star system. "How many dreadnoughts are ready?" asked Fleet Admiral Ji-Hoon Kang. 15, sir. With more coming every day. "And the stellar manipulation devices? Ready for deployment. We can make any star in Kitharan space go supernova on command." Ji-Hoon looked at the battle reports coming in from across the galaxy. The Kitharan Empire was losing everywhere. Their ships were being destroyed faster than they could build them. Their soldiers were too scared to fight. "Sir," said an aide, "we are getting reports that some Kitharan worlds are trying to surrender." "What are our orders about surrender?" "Admiral Kim's orders are clear, sir. No quarter, no mercy, no surrender," Ji-Hoon nodded. This was the choice they had made. The Kitharans had shown no mercy to the Villani, the Torak, or the Nexari. Now they would learn what it felt like to have no mercy shown to them. "Sir," said another aide, "some of the other galactic races are asking us to stop. They say we are being too harsh. Where were they when the genocide happened? Where were they when our friends were dying? They say they were afraid of the Kitharans. Good, now they can be afraid of us instead." The truth was that the entire galaxy was watching the human war with growing fear. They had always thought of humans as the peaceful race, the mediators, the bridge builders. Now they were seeing what humans were really like when someone pushed them too far. On the Kitharan homeworld, Empress Vixtara sat in her palace and watched her empire fall apart. Every day brought news of more defeats, more destroyed worlds, more dead soldiers. How many ships do we have left? She asked her generals. Maybe 1,000, Empress. But our crews are too scared to fight. They have heard what the humans do to prisoners. What do they do? Nothing, Empress. That is the problem. They do not take prisoners. Vixtara had ruled the Ketharan Empire for 50 years. She had conquered dozens of worlds. She had never known defeat. But now she was learning what it felt like to be on the other side of a genocide. Send a message to Earth, she said. Offer them anything they want. Money, territory, slaves, anything. We already tried, Empress. They will not accept any offers. What do they want? Her general looked afraid to answer. Revenge, Empress. They want revenge for what we did to their friends. Vixtara thought about the 3 races they had destroyed. She had thought it was a good military strategy. Remove the humans' allies, then force the humans to surrender. Simple and clean. She had not understood that humans did not think like other races. She had not understood that humans could turn their peaceful nature into something much more dangerous. How long until they reach our homeworld? She asked. Maybe 6 months, Empress. Maybe less. In our defenses. Against human technology? We have no defenses. Vixtara looked out the window at her capital city. Millions of Kitharans lived there. They had been proud and strong, the rulers of a great empire. Now they were just waiting to die. Empress, said her general, perhaps we should evacuate the homeworld. Scatter our people to distant colonies. Would that matter? Have the humans shown any mercy to Kitharan colonies? No, Empress. They hunt down every ship that tries to escape. They track down every hidden base. It is like they want to kill every Kitharan in the galaxy. Vixtara closed her eyes. She had created this monster. She had ordered the genocide that turned humanity's greatest strength into their greatest weapon. The humans had been peaceful because they chose to be peaceful. Now they chose to be something else. And there was nothing the Kitharan Empire could do to stop them. Supreme Admiral Hyun-woo Kim stood on the bridge of the Eternal Memory and looked at the last Kitharan world. 2 years had passed since the genocide. 2 years of hunting every Kitharan ship across the galaxy. 2 years of making them pay for what they had done. The Kitharan Empire that once controlled 300 star systems now had only one planet left. Their homeworld. Around him 2,000 human ships waited in perfect formation. Each ship carried weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Together they had enough firepower to crack a planet like an egg. Admiral, said Captain Sujin Park. She was now an admiral herself, in charge of the Volani protection fleet. All ships report ready. Any word from the planet? Empress Vixtara has been trying to contact us for 3 days. She wants to surrender. Hyun-woo looked at the planet below. He could see the lights of the Kitharan cities. Millions of people lived there. Most of them had never left their world. Most of them had nothing to do with the genocide, but he also remembered the crystal children on Prism 7th. He remembered the poisoned oceans of Aquatica. He remembered Dr. Minho holding the last memory of an entire race. Put her message through, he said. The main screen lit up with the image of Empress Vixtara. She was old now, older than she had been 2 years ago. Fear and stress had aged her badly. Admiral Kim, she said, I am prepared to offer complete surrender. We will give you anything you want. Our technology, our wealth, our service. Just please spare my people. Your people, Hyun-woo said. Did you think about the Volani people when you ordered their extinction? Did you care about the Torek people when you poisoned their world? That was different. That was war. You are right. This is war too, your war. You started it by killing children. Please, Vixtara said. I was wrong. We were all wrong. But killing us will not bring your friends back. Hyun-woo was quiet for a long moment. Around him his officers waited to see what he would decide. The fate of an entire race was in his hands, Dr. Song, he said. Activate the memorial device. Dr. Yeon-hee Song, now very old but still sharp, pressed a button on her console. Suddenly, every screen in the galaxy lit up with the same images. The final moments of the Volani, the poisoning of the Torek, the draining of the Nexari. Every detail of the genocide was shown to every living being in the galaxy. The sounds of children dying. The sight of entire races being wiped out for no reason except cruelty. This is what you did, Hyun-woo said to the Empress. This is why we are here. When the images ended, the galaxy was silent. Every race that had ever feared the Kitharans now understood exactly what they had been capable of. Now, Hyun-woo said, let me tell you what we are going to do. The Empress waited, expecting to hear about her people's death. We are not going to kill you, Hyunwoo said. Everyone on the bridge looked surprised. Even his own officers had expected a different answer. We are going to do something worse. We are going to make sure you remember. I do not understand. Your planet is now surrounded by a quantum barrier. Nothing can get in. Nothing can get out. Your people will live, but they will live on this one world forever. And every day, they will remember what they did. As he spoke, the human ships began to deploy strange devices around the planet. The devices linked together to form a cage made of energy that nothing could break. You will live, Hyunwoo continued, but you will live as prisoners, and whenever your children ask why they cannot leave this world, you will tell them. You will tell them about the genocide. You will tell them about the prices of cruelty, but how will we survive? How will we get food? Supplies? The same way the Vellani children survived after you killed their parents. The same way the Torek survivors lived after you poisoned their world. You will make do with what you have. The quantum barrier was now complete. The entire Ketheran homeworld was trapped inside a cage of energy that would last forever. This is your punishment, Hyunwoo said. Not death. Memory. Every Ketheran who is born from now on will know what their race did. And they will know that this cage is the price they pay for it. He turned off the communication and looked at his officers. Admiral, said Captain Sujin, what about the rest of the galaxy? Hyunwoo walked to the front of the bridge and pressed a button. His image appeared on screens across every inhabited world. People of the galaxy, he said. The Ketheran Empire is dead. Their fleets are destroyed. Their worlds are empty. Their people are imprisoned on a single planet as a reminder of what they did. He paused and looked directly into the camera. For 127 years, humanity chose peace. We believed in cooperation. We believed in trust. We believed that different races could work together to make the galaxy a better place. The Kitherans taught us that we were wrong. So today, the Galactic Cooperative is dead. In its place stands the Terran hegemony. We do not ask for your friendship. We do not seek your trust. We demand only one thing, the protection of the innocent. Any race that chooses genocide will face what the Kitherans faced. Any world that preys upon the weak will burn. Any empire that forgets the price of our mercy will learn it again. We are no longer the bridge between civilizations. We are the sword that hangs over them. Remember this day. Remember what happens when you murder our friends. And pray that you never give us reason to remember what we used to be. The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, alien leaders sat in silence thinking about what they had just heard. The humans were no longer the peaceful mediators they had known. They were something new, something that ruled through fear instead of trust. But maybe that was what the galaxy needed. Maybe peace through fear was better than no peace at all. 5 years later, Admiral Hyunwoo Kim walked through the memorial gardens on New Nexari. The station was built in the shape of a crystal flower, honoring the 3 lost races. In the gardens, energy beings danced again. Not many, but some. The survivors had learned to reproduce, slowly rebuilding their race. Crystal trees grew in patterns that would have made the Vellani proud. And in the water pools, young Torek swam and played, learning the songs their elders had sung. Admiral, said Bright Melody, now grown into a beautiful adult Vellani. The children want to hear the story again. Hyunwoo smiled. It was a tired smile, but a real one. Which story? The story of how the humans saved us. Hyunwoo looked around the gardens. Alien children played together under the watchful eyes of human soldiers. The soldiers carried weapons that could destroy planets, but they used them to protect the innocent. Once, he said to the children, there were 4 races who lived in peace. They trusted each other. They helped each other. They believed that all thinking beings could be friends. But some beings do not want friends. Some beings only want power. And one day those beings decided to hurt the peaceful races. What happened then? Asked a young Torek. The humans remembered something they had tried to forget. They remembered that sometimes, to protect good people, you have to be very scary to bad people. Did the bad people learn their lesson? Hyunwoo looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Ketheran homeworld sat in its quantum cage. Their children grew up knowing they were prisoners. Their leaders spent every day explaining why. Other races watched and remembered. The galaxy was peaceful now, but it was a different kind of peace. It was peace built on the knowledge that somewhere out there, humanity was watching. And if anyone tried to commit genocide again, humanity would come for them. Yes, he said to the children. I think they learned their lesson. Are the humans still angry? Hyunwoo thought about that question for a long time. Were they still angry, or had they just become something else? Something that would never again let innocents die while they tried to negotiate peace. The humans remember, he said finally, and as long as they remember, you will always be safe. In the museum at the heart of New Seoul Station, a wall was covered with the names of the dead. 3 entire races listed person by person. It would take a human 6 hours to read every name. At the bottom of the wall, words were carved in crystal that glowed with soft light. Here lie the Galactic Cooperative and the Age of Peace through trust. They died because some beings choose evil. We learn to choose something else. May the galaxy never forget which choice proved stronger. Below that, in smaller letters, in memory of those who showed us that mercy has its place and its limits. And at the very bottom, in the ancient human language that only scholars could read, we were peaceful because we chose to be. Never forget what we choose to be now. The memorial was always guarded. Day and night, human soldiers stood watch over the names of the dead. They carried weapons that could destroy stars. They wore armor that could stop anything the galaxy could throw at them. But sometimes, when no one was watching, they would touch the crystal wall and whisper the names of friends they would never see again. The galaxy was peaceful now, but it was the peace that comes when everyone knows exactly what will happen if they break it. And somewhere in the quantum cage around the Kytheran homeworld, children asked their parents why they could never see the stars, and their parents told them the truth, and they remembered.